Today I thought we would do something slightly different in this video, and we received an interesting email yesterday from a potential user, and they had 3 questions, and we thought rather than answering them directly we would do so via a video, because in fact it's a very interesting series of questions that they asked, and the answer involves some well-known and less well-known elements of AdapTable which we thought might be of wider interest. So this is the email they sent us. There's 3 questions. The first was, I see we are able to create column formats such as K for 1000 and M for million, but I cannot see how we can have both in the same column. Is that possible? Then they go on to say, also, can we then style them differently so that the K and M values have a different colour? This will help us to distinguish between them visually. And finally, they say, lastly, will AdapTable update these formats when the data ticks? So we'll go through each of these questions one by one, and we'll try and put them in context and show how it's done. So the first thing they want to do was to be able to create K for 1000 and M for million, but in the same column. And as they say, is that possible? Well, it's a very good question. And the answer is yes, it is, but not directly out of the box. What I mean by that is AdapTable has some very powerful format column features, which do allow you very easily to do the K and M that they ask for. So for instance, we can go to this column here, GitHub stars, and we can say we want a display format. We could create it ourselves, but in fact, AdapTable has presets. If they wanted to do M, they would click this and it would create the multiplier and a suffix. Or if they wanted to do K, it would do the same thing. And there we are. There's that column K. But what you're not able, as they say, is to do K and M in the same column. So some values would be by million and some would be to 1000. The answer to that is you can do it in AdapTable, but essentially you need to provide a custom format instead of using one of those we provide. As we saw for numeric columns, AdapTable's numeric formatter allows you to add all these, and you can do that at design time or runtime, prefixes, suffixes, separators, digits, multipliers, etc. And as we saw, AdapTable has a number of presets to speed up that process. But where that's not enough, you as the developer can provide a custom format that can extend it and take it further. And in fact, that's what we see here, where we can see this value is 8.79M, but this value shows us 78.55K, and this value 938 just shows without a K or an M. So what's happening here? Well, as I say, let's make it full screen so it's easier to see. Let's show the code. We've provided a custom display format, and we've done that at design time because that's where they're provided. And you do so in the user interface options section of AdapTable options. In fact, in this demo, we've provided 3. One for the license column, which gets rid of the word license. And we've also done one for the created at column, which just shows the day of the week, as you can see here. And we're going to look at this middle one because that's the subject of this video. And that's this one here. And what we've said is we've called it big number format. We said it can be applied if you wanted to across any number column. And it receives, as they all do, a custom display formatter context object, which gives you context about the cell, the column, the row, anything you need to make an informed decision. And very simply, we take the number in the cell and we say if it's greater than 1,000,000, we divide it by 1,000,000 to 2 decimal places and add an M. Otherwise, if it's greater than 1,000, we do the same but to 1,000 and add a K. Otherwise, we return a cell value, and that's then how that works. So that's how you can have M and K in the same column. You do it through a custom display format. You make that available. And in fact, it's a 2-stage process. So stage 1 is at design time to provide the formatter. And the second stage is to apply it to whichever columns you want. In this example, we've done that also at design time through predefined config. But there's nothing stopping you, the user, if she wants to, she can do it at runtime. She just opens the wizard, she creates a new format column, and then will see any custom formatters there, and she can apply it to the column. As I say, in this case here, we did it at design time. So in our format columns config, you can see here, we've said we're going to apply it to all number columns. That's why you see it in all the number columns. As well as applying it, we're actually also going to make all these columns be bold. And then here we are, we're going to use this custom display format of big number custom format, which, as we saw, turns millions to M, thousands to K, and leaves other values alone. So that's the first part of her question. But now she says, are we able to style them differently? So the K and M values have a different color. And the answer is yes, you can, because these are just normal cell values. So for instance, there's nothing stopping me creating a conditional style for this column. And I, for instance, will say, make it, let's make it very visual. So let's make it pink and italic for this column, where it's going to be greater than 1,000. And there we are. Anything that's greater than 1,000 is pink. Everything else stays the same. And if you want to distinguish between the millions, obviously you can do that as well. We can create a second conditional style, where, for instance, this time we say the format color is going to be brown. Let's make it a slightly bigger font size, so you can really see the difference. We need to do a target. Instead of doing all columns, let's just do GitHub stars. And this time the condition will be greater than. And again, this you can do at design time or runtime. Here we're doing it at runtime. And now you can see there the millions, there the thousands, and there those. So yes, it's very easy to create different styles for the different formats that you've provided in your custom formatter. I can't remember what the last question was now. Will Adaptable update these format when a data sticks? Yes, of course it will. So for instance, the best way to show that's probably just by adding something to the dashboard. So let's go into our dashboard. Let's quickly add a new tab called demo, and let's put Smart Edit in there. And now, for instance, if I decide I'm going to multiply all these by 1,000, then you'll see that they will change. And if I decide I'm going to divide all these by 100,000, again, they change again. So yes, as they tick in real time, they will change. So if I make this, it becomes a million. So there that answers that question. I think that answers all three of them. So there we are. That shows you how in Adaptable you're able to extend the display formatters that Adaptable provides with custom ones where you need to do something more specific. All display formats are completely stylable using conditional styles, either predicates or the expressions in more complicated use cases. And then all formats, all styles, everything in Adaptable is rendered each time the cell appears. So whenever you edit a cell, either ticking data or a direct edit, they will update and then they will show the correct style and format depending on the current cell data. As always, thank you for watching. Any questions, do please get in touch, and we'd love to hear from you. Thank you.